Shifting focus now to Sri Lanka, where Sri Lanka is witnessing a massive power crisis and time is running out. Power cuts are imposed at peak hours because the state power entity is unable to obtain fuel to run turbines. The Electricity Board has large unpaid bills, which is why the state fuel entity has stopped oil supplies. The only refinery running in Sri Lanka was recently shut because of unpaid dues. In a desperate move, the country has been speaking to companies in friendly nations to solve the crisis. New Delhi's Indian Oil Corporation being one. Now, this power crisis could have been solved by one thing: foreign exchange. But even in that front, Sri Lanka is witnessing a massive fall in foreign reserves. Due to a lack of dollars to pay for the imports, the country is grappling with a shortage of almost all essentials. But how did Sri Lanka reach this crisis? Why did the government fail to foresee this? And how is the island country planning on overcoming this? To find answers to these questions, our correspondent Sonia Tora sat down with Sri Lanka's energy minister. Listen in to this exclusive conversation.
In Sri Lanka, I'm the Minister of Energy. There is a separate cabinet ministry for electricity, known as Minister of Power. So power generation is within the purview of that ministry. But let me, as a cabinet minister, I must explain the situation. Usually in Sri Lanka, annual demand for power grows 8% by 8% per annum. Periodically, government has to introduce new power plants to meet the demand. Unfortunately, since 2014, there was no addition to our power plant, the family of power plants. That is why, as long as we had usually from January to April is a dry season in Sri Lanka, most part of Sri Lanka. As a result, our water reservoirs, water level drastically go down. During that time, we heavily depend on thermal power plants to meet the electricity demand. Unfortunately, since we did not add either renewable energy or thermal energy to our grid during the last 8 years, now existing thermal power plants are not in a position to meet the entire power demand in the country. So that's one issue. So I have predicted that there must be definite power cuts from early March, probably from mid-February.
Is this because the country is unable to source the necessary dollars?
No. Our power plants have no capacity to, our thermal power plants, because now water levels are going down.
Yes.
So drought would be more severe
in the coming months.
In the coming months, as a result, at the moment, if you look at the figures, by December, 60% was, in November, 65% of power requirement was met with hydro.
Right.
Now it has come down to 25%. Then the demand should be looked after by the thermal power plants. But unfortunately, since we have not added new power plants to our system, existing thermal power plants have no capacity to meet the demand.
WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.